So hello yung Solvi Eliezer. So now let's move to our module number 6 for Philippine Politics and Governance. Na ito po yung karugtong ng ating module number 5 under states, nations, and globalization. So just set aside the ventilation or the background. So just focus on my voice. So let's start with module 6. No, it's all about globalization. So I know that you are familiar with globalization because na-topic na rin ito noong inyong during your junior high school. So let's just take a review and some instances or some examples. Okay, so globalization, as you can see in the screen, that globalization it is an important part in our society, especially in the world of economics. Why? Because globalization, I will give you further the meaning of globalization later. So I'm just giving you the background. So globalization somehow is related to trade and transactions, capital and investments, movements, migration of people when transferring from another country to the another, and the dissemination of knowledge. And to give you the formal definition of globalization, we all know that globalization, no, ito yung proseso ng pagta-transfer o paglilipat, pagkakaroon ng koneksyon ng mga tao sa iba't ibang parte ng mundo. Especially when it comes to business, when it comes to communication, especially the internet connection, global, cultural, political, and economic integration. So lahat yun ay mayroong epekto. Lumalawak ng lumalawak ang koneksyon ng mga tao because of these discoveries, no? Internet connection, communication, business, international trade, or yung mga kalakalan. So that's the definition of globalization. Patungkol to sa pagkakaroon ng koneksyon, no? Sa pagtulong ng komunikasyon at pagdami ng transportasyon, invention, and discoveries across the country dahil sa kalakalan or the international trade. And then, these are some positive effects of globalization. Ano ba yung nagagawa ng globalization in increasing a certain country, no? Pwedeng mag-increase ng competition, pagdating sa mga products, import and export, employment, nakakadagdag ng trabaho, no? Pwedeng mag-migrate sa ibang bansa to have a good job or searching for jobs. So USA, no, different countries across the world, and the foreign trade. Nagpapataas din to ng growth pagdating sa ekonomiya when it comes to money. Okay, so that's some positive effects of globalization. And then, globalization also changed the world. No? Dati, di ba, just mensahe lang papel, sulat, telegrams. But now, it is very automatic. It is very mabilis. Mabilis lahat ng information. One click away, you'll know the message. No? Because of these trends now, mobile phones, communication, internet, computer, laptop, gadgets. So just one click away, you'll know the news updates in the television. No? So very techy na yung mga tao ngayong 21st century because of this trend, the globalization. No? Hindi naman makaikakala na halos lahat is now embracing this trend, no? Lumalaki ng lumalaki ang development ng society because of this trend, no? And then globalization, aside from that mobile uh, connections, no, it is not just inform people by means of physical aspects, no, by connection. So ayun na nga, because of internet connection worldwide, we can access news, we can access trends, we can access new updates across the world because of this communication, no, by the impact of globalization. And then, meron syempre mga epekto. What are the effects of change in the speed of communication, no, under ng globalization? So, nalalaman natin ngayon yung mga nangyayari sa iba't ibang bansa. Just one click away in the news, no? Example natin dito, massacre, world wars, civil wars, no? Typhoons here in the Philippines, no? Dahil nalalaman ngayon ng iba't ibang tao sa mundo, umaakyat sa kanila o dumadating sa kanila ang information, yun yung nagiging opportunity for the people to take actions, no? They can donate, they can give a hand, no? Tumutulong sila dun sa mga bansa na naaapektuhan, syempre with the help of the government. So yun yung nangyayari sa globalization. Everyone is now informed of what's happening. And now, ito yung pinaka medyo fresh news, no? Siyempre, terrorism and bombing, and the COVID-19 pandemic. And after all this communication na nakarating sa iba't ibang bansa, the world now is ready to pour aid to the different countries mostly affected. So nagkakaroon ngayon sila ng connection in terms of helping different countries na mas naaapektuhan. So, ano mabibigyan sa dulo? Cooperation, nagkakaroon ng intimate relationship between the countries, pwedeng magpautang, revenues, mag-donate, tumulong, magbigay ng aids, no? Vaccines, no? COVID-19, Russia, China, USA, and different vaccine trials na under pa rin yun nasa trial phases. No? So these are the change na pwedeng maidulot ng communication, helping each countries. And then, also, aside from those information, meron din siyempreng positive and negative effect whether magtatagumpay ba o mag-failed ang communication. No? So, bigyan natin ng example dito. So, we all know na aware naman tayo that North Korea is a communist country. Parang siya na lang yung natitirang communist country in the world. No? So, parang ang hirap ng buhay din sa North Korea and communication is very prohibited, no? Doon lang mismo sa country nila, the government controlled the communication, the access. Kaya medyo mahirap ang buhay sa North Korea. So, somehow it's the failure of communication. Nilalagyan nila ng boundaries, ng barriers, or ng harang ang isang country to not communicate around the world. So, ganun kahigpit sa North Korea. And then, ito yung meron tayo dito sa Southeast Asia because Philippines is along the ASEAN or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or the ASEAN. So this organization, especially exclusive for ASEAN countries, no? Nandiyan ang Thailand, Laos, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, Timor, let's say that Malaysia, Myanmar, no? Those are some ASEAN countries. So meron silang isang organization exclusively for Southeast Asian countries, no? To promote cooperation. So per region yan, di ba may East Asia, may South Asia, Southeast Asia, no? Mga regions around the world. So these are some organizations that may help globalization, especially in such a region na kinabibilangan ng Philippines. So that is ASEAN. And let's put now the state and nations. So, nung nauna na pag-aralan natin yung state and nations, what are the four elements of the state, what is a nation. Now, we will focus on the global economy. Yung kinabibilangan ngayon ng mga state and nation. So, we all know that global economy, no, lumalawak ngayon ang pandaigdigang kalakalan. No? May mahirap na bansa, merong mga bansa na yumayaman, merong papausbong pa lang na bansa na under the development. So therefore, the global economy meron siyang epekto no, sa mayamang bansa and sa poor poor countries. So global economy hindi na yun mapipigilan ngayon, no? Kasi minsan magkakaroon na ng malayang kalakalan, nagkakaroon na ng international trades, no? Nababawasan mga tariffs. So nagkakaroon ng free trade, nagkakaroon ng pagbabawas sa mga limitations, no? Kasi nga there's independence or autonomy pagdating sa hindi na nakadepende or that's foreign independence, no? Para makalahok ang isang country sa isang kalakalan. And somehow, global economy, pagpasok ng 20th century, no, the 1900s, and so on until the 21st century, nagkakaroon ng growing trend pagdating sa ekonomiya between the countries dahil sa kalakalan, no, sa malayang ugnayan, pagdating sa finance, pagdating sa control, sa trade, may liberation, no, tinatanggal ang mga taripa, pagdating sa kalakalan. Okay? And then, global economy, no, alam naman natin, developed countries, as you can see, China, UK, United Kingdom, Japan, United States, no? These are developed countries. No? So, meron niyang opportunities and threats. So, there's a positive and negative effects pagdating sa mga countries. So, developed countries at yung mga mayayaman ng bansa. I know that you are familiar with these things. And aside from that, no, hindi lang syempre developed countries. Meron tayong tinatawag na first world. First world countries, syempre ito na yung mga, alam naman natin, mayamang bansa, Canada, United States, Australia, and some countries in Europe. Second world countries, ito pa lang yung mga medyo malapit na, Russia, China. Third world, ito naman yung mga developing countries. So kasama dyan ang Philippines and lalo na yung mga bansa under Africa, okay, and other parts of Europe also. And syempre mayroong pagkakaiba yun, no? There's a poverty, there's competition between the countries, lalo na pag mga medyo developing countries pa lang. May pagkakaiba sila pagdating sa technology, pagdating sa machine, sa capital, no, agricultural countries. So, i-topic natin yan yun. So, developed countries, develop from the word self-develop, ito na yung mga fully growing countries, no? They are shaped by international financial flows, no? Maaaring humiram silang ng pera, borrowing monies overseas, no? Nagkakaroon ng exchange of relationship pagdating sa foreign states or foreign countries. So they are now intervening with each other when it comes to money, economy, revenue collections. So kaya mas lalong yumayaman ang isang bansa. And these are some industrialized country under the first world. As you can see, ito yung mga mayayaman ng bansa. Of course, nandiyan ang United States, United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, so on and so forth. And syempre, meron din tayong developing countries. So developing countries, eto naman yung mga bansa na papausbong pa lang. So they are under observation, they are under the process of each countries. So dito sa developing countries na ito, syempre, mas malayo ang agwat nila kaysa sa mga developed countries. Kasi mostly dito, mga agricultural countries, kasama na nga ang Philippines. So nagre-rely sila more on the agricultural sectors in the economy. But aside from that, agricultural countries cannot transform into industrial economies because these countries need capital to build industries. So, siyempre, hindi lang sila magre-rely sa pagtatanim, sa pagsasaka. Kailangan din nila ng machineries or ng technology, which is yun yung kalamangan ng mga developed countries. So, ayun, low levels of access, no? Nagkakaroon pa lang ng development. So, Philippines is under this type. So, ito pa yung iba. No? List of developing countries, Brazil, Turkmenistan, no, under some Middle East countries, Saudi Arabia, uh, African countries, no, Nigeria, um, other sa may ano din sa may America, no, parte ng South America, meron din yung mga developing countries pa, not just all the American countries. And ito yung pinaka ano natin, comparison natin, no. Syempre nagkakaiba sila sa geographic locations or where's the location of that country. Nag-iiba-iba sila sa economic condition, sa social condition, nandiyan yung sa education, poverty, migration, literacy, access healthcare, and pagdating sa population. So definitely according to developed and developing countries, no, developed countries may have low population. Napansin naman din natin in the Philippines, we're over 110 million population. No, kaya under tayo ng developing countries. While developed countries, kinokontrol nila ang kanilang population. And these are some intergovernmental organizations. Ito yung mga pwede natin sabihin na inuutangan or kinukuha na ng budget ng mga developing countries. No, somehow, meron ding papel dito ang mga developed countries. So, pwede silang umutang sa World Bank, Asian Development Bank, sa World Trade Organization, no, different banks, international banks, or the IMF, International Monetary Fund, no, to boost the stability and cooperation, economic recovery and development, nagpapautang, promote international trade. So, ayun yung iba't ibang organizations that may help the globalization more progressive between the connection of the different countries across the world. So, yung Module 6 kasi, it is very short, no, globalization, no, develop and developing countries. So, that's the short discussion for Module 6, Philippine Politics and Governance, Globalization. So, thank you so much for listening.